Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something super fascinating, a highly structured framework for living. We're going to break down the specific teachings and writings of God Shufang, the founder of Life Chanyuan, to see exactly how he maps out building an unshakable, fulfilling existence from the ground up.
Let me ask you this right off the bat. What is the ultimate blueprint for a successful life? Right? I mean, it's a question humanity has been obsessed with for centuries. Is it just hoarding wealth? Finding personal happiness? Or is it something far deeper and much more systematic?
To get to the bottom of that, we're exploring a framework known as the 8 Footstones. This whole concept comes directly from the teachings of Guy Shofeng and his Life Chanyuan philosophy. His writings lay out a very specific idea. A truly successful life demands 8 totally indispensable foundational stones. And in his teachings, this isn't some buffet where you just pick and choose what you like. Every single stone is required to keep the structure of your life standing.
So, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the spiritual base, then move to respecting roots and authority, forging your personal character, the power of collective life, and finally, completing the foundation.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the spiritual base. This covers Footstones 1 and 2.
Now, these first 2 footstones operate on a totally macro level. We're looking outward at the universe and the fundamental nature of reality itself. The very first footstone is all about ultimate belief. And what's really interesting here is the stark, intense dichotomy Shufang presents. On one side, you have believing in the greatest creator, which he describes as the literal source of all life and wisdom, the guarantee that leads a person to higher life spaces. But then, look at the alternative. In this framework, departing from the creator isn't just, a simple misstep. He describes it as a devilish life that is absolutely destined to be ruined. So, yeah, it's an uncompromising starting point for sure.
And that transitions us brilliantly into the second footstone, following the Tao. Here, Tao is defined as the ultimate truth, the source of the soul, and literally the bridge to attaining eternal life. But the really crucial point here is the visual metaphor he uses for the exact opposite, a life that ignores the Tao. It's just an illusion. He describes it as being as transitory as a night-blooming flower. It might seem beautiful for a brief moment in the dark, but it's fleeting. It just fades away without any lasting substance.
All right, moving on to Section 2, respecting roots and authority. This covers Footstones 3 and 4.
So now we shift our focus down from the cosmic spirituality of the universe right down into the earthly realm of human society and family dynamics. This brings us to the third footstone, which is all about national leadership. The source material explicitly equates respecting political leaders, whether they're presidents, kings, chairmen, whoever, with maintaining a stable society. Shufang views it as a basic, required quality of being a citizen. Conversely, desecrating or resisting these leaders doesn't just mean you have a minor political disagreement. In this philosophy, it means you actually lose the basic qualities of being a citizen, and you're practically inviting a stormy, turbulent, completely disordered life. Building that same logic into the family structure, the fourth footstone focuses heavily on filial piety, respecting your parents. In this blueprint, your parents are the literal, physical roots of your body on earth. Because of that, respecting them is called the greatest human Tao, and the warning attached to this stone is incredibly severe. Disrespecting your parents is equated to literally destroying your own roots. Doing so, according to the text, turns a person into a lost and lonely soul, completely unmoored from human existence.
Section 3, forging your personal character. Let's look at Footstones 5, 6, and 7.
So we've laid down the spiritual and societal stones, and now we really have to look inward at the internal qualities required to build a rock-solid personal foundation. Here, we have a triad of necessary personal character traits. To succeed, you have to be trustworthy with deep integrity, you've got to be diligent and motivated, and you absolutely must be courageous.
Let's zoom in on that fifth stone about integrity, because Shufang uses some incredibly intense and highly specific imagery here. Maintaining integrity is what keeps you fundamentally human. But losing that integrity, the text states that you physically slip into lower spaces, actually joining the camp of devils. It says you become a ghost or a monster that's simply wearing the skin of a human, but you no longer actually belong to the human category at all. It is a dramatic, honestly unforgettable way to underscore exactly why trustworthiness matters so much. For the sixth footstone, being diligent and motivated, we get this fantastic, super memorable quote from the text. An inch of time is an inch of gold, but even an inch of gold cannot buy back an inch of time. This stone is essentially a strict warning against a wastrel's lifestyle. You know, gluttony, laziness, aimless wandering, things that Shufang says lead only to ignorance and poverty.
The blueprint demands that we cherish our time, stay studious, and actually seek out our happiness within our struggles, rather than just running away from them. Then the 7th footstone unpacks the true definition of courage. Now, it's not about being a bully. In fact, the text explicitly says, do not make trouble. But true courage requires being good at winning, daring to be defeated, and having the sheer resilience to come back even after being utterly destroyed. I absolutely love the imagery used here, being able to hold the sword and fight on a running horse. It means remaining perfectly calm before danger and being utterly fearless, even dauntless, right in the face of death. Which brings us to Section 4, the power of collective life. This is the 8th footstone.
This moves us into the final functional principle of the blueprint. It focuses on why all this individual strength we literally just talked about means very little without a community surrounding you. Think about this rhetorical question posed directly by the source. What is the true value of enormous wealth or great success if you don't have trustable friends to share your happiness and your pain? The text points out that nature always brings unexpected storms, and life is just full of unpredictable vicissitudes. I mean, how much energy can one single individual really have to face those heavy crises entirely alone?
To answer that, the text shares this vivid analogy from a famous Chinese fairy tale, The 8 Immortals. The whole idea is that everyone shows their own magical powers and they cross the seas together. A true collective works by everyone appreciating and taking care of one another, pooling their unique strengths to navigate the really difficult waters of life as a united front.
And surprisingly, I really didn't see this coming. The text uses a brilliant pop culture touchpoint to make this even clearer. Transformers, right? A Transformer can fight perfectly well on its own, but when they cooperate and physically combine with their partners, they become this massive invincible fighter. It just perfectly illustrates the power of combining forces. Without this love for collective life, the blueprint states you're just left with nothing but a sad, lonely existence.
Finally, Section 5, completing the foundation. The complete package.
Okay, it's time to bring all these separate stones together into a single, cohesive, load-bearing structure. Let's do a quick recap of the thematic blocks we've just built. We established the spiritual base, we honored roots and authority, we forged personal character, and we embraced the collective. Notice how each block intimately relies on the others. Like you really can't have the courage of the individual without the support of the collective, and you can't properly respect earthly authority without understanding the broader cosmic Tao.
So, here is the absolutely crucial point. None of them can be excluded. Xufang's explicit instruction is that these 8 footstones are a complete, integrated package. It's literally an all-or-nothing blueprint. Every single stone is strictly required for the foundation to hold the weight of a truly successful life.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. Just how sturdy are the footstones of your own life's foundation? Whether you subscribe to all these specific principles or not, examining your own life through a highly structured 8-part lens like this is incredibly revealing. Take a hard look at your spiritual base, your community, your character. Are any of your stones missing? Are they cracked? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating, complex framework with me today. Keep asking those big questions, keep building your foundation, and I will catch you in the next explainer.